grand pianos were very expensive. So they came up with a version of the vertical and adopted a lot of fancy furniture. Look at that. Crazy things like a curved keyboard to be closer to the hands, it's too or pianos with panderets and foreign things. And of course, the girl of the house better learn to play the piano because she would have better chances of being married. So, at that time in Europe, all the piano makers were happy. They, their clients had what they needed. The professionals had a great piano, and the middle class had a vertical piano. Business was prospering, and finally they had made it. They didn't have to look for anything else. But some special things were happening across the Atlantic in America. Until 1777, there was no piano maker in America. Clement, a German maker, went there and started to build square grand pianos that became extremely popular. And the reason they were so popular is because they fit perfectly in the cart of the caravans going from the east to the west. It was perfect, that square shape, and it fitted perfectly. Alpheus Babcock came with an heretical design. He casted one single piece of iron frame for that kind of piano, and that incredibly extended the possibilities of tensioning the scale, and the sound became great. No special, iron bars or anything like that. And that concept was adopted by Chickering, the first great American manufacturer, that they did a big cast iron plate. They built a very robust piano, and they took it to the World Fair in Paris in, this is 1769. Here is the Chickering piano that they sent to the fair, and to the surprise of all the European makers, they won the gold prize. For the first time in American piano. That's the piano with a far more robust sound, closer to modern piano. Franz Liszt immediately adopted the Chickering for his big concerts, and he owned it. The mechanics in this piano were adopting, their arts actions. So, who is this guy? He looks like a winner. His name is Henrik Steinweg. His business of piano making, the Steinweg and Sons factory in Germany, was going badly because the turmoil in Europe on the revolution in 1848. He took his 4 sons and changed his last name, Americanized it for Steinway, and he opened a factory after 2 years of working for Chickering just to see how is the trade. Established a factory in 1853. He adopted inventions that other people already had, Papet's cross strings, but for the first time he put it in a grand piano instead of a vertical. And no, it wasn't a square grand. That was the square grand that the Steinway built, adopting many of the improvements that the French and the British had done. And they presented this piano to the American Fair in New York. It was no regular standard square grand piano. It won the first prize. They started to build one single piece of rim around the soundboard, made out of several, I think 18 laminations, that will be a true fortress against the tension of the soundboard on the sides. And it will be glued with shape it while still the glue is fresh. That's the final product. So no more 4 pieces for the surrounding of the piano. One single piece all around, 10 times as strong. And that's the plate. They sculpture the edges of the soundboard, like in the violins, to vibrate better. And they made a very, very strong, inner ring to support all that tension. That's the final product. An incredible fortress supporting 45,000 pounds, 22 metric tons of string tension. They used the duplex scale design that enhances the overtone, a very important step forward for a richer tone. And they use hammers with additional thickness for a richer tone. The capstan screw could regulate, adjust the action to the desire of the pianist. So that was it. Those are the few most important innovations of Steinway out of 125 patents that they presented. The most important part of what makes a Steinway is what I just said. In 1888, I think, they invented the third pedal that nobody knows apparently. You could see that the ones on the side are all used and the one in the center is unused. Right? I'm going to play for that time a piece by Alberto Ginastera called it's an Argentine dance, just to show you how percussive the sound was of the composer of the time. It was to make a decently built, well-made, mass-produced piano. And in order to do that, they established, a tremendous factory with up-to-date equipment. They also make absolutely everything you can imagine mass-produced. But the piano is really kind of their flagship. And they were extremely successful. They heavily relied on PR with teachers. They gave their pianos to celebrities, and little by little they made a big name. Some people think that, that's the small plus ultra piano maker. By today's industry standards, the best Yamaha it rates between intermediate level and premium level. So they never made it to the top, but they were able to build a very good, well-made professional piano for that could be more affordable. Okay. That's Michael Jackson in front of a Bösendorfer. Why? Because Yamaha bought also Bösendorfer. Then we have a Kawai Piano Company that mimicked much of what Yamaha did, but instead of being a large corporation doing everything, this company was run by 3 generations of the Kawai family, and they made also a product similar in quality to the Yamaha, with its own personality, with its own sound, and a good product. We have to say, however, that both companies make several different qualities of pianos. So there is a Yamaha for $1,000 for this money, there is another one for half that price, and so on. So they are not the same in quality in terms of professional or intermediate or consumer type of quality. They all last very well. Here is the inside of the Kauai factory. They keep their business. They were more prominent in the past, but we haven't heard much about any new developments in Kauai lately. They introduced a novelty, and it's carbon fiber induction. Carbon fiber will prevent the humidity to go into the action parts, which is the most sensitive part, and it does not interfere at all with sound. Actually, it's the way of the future, and major piano makers are adopting that, mostly for their most expensive pianos, because carbon fiber is more expensive than regular wood. But Shigeru Kawai also did a special, piano called the Shigeru. That is a piano well made, better made. Then came later Yang Chang in Korea. They are still making pianos. These three factories have a capacity of 120,000 pianos, each of them per year. Compared to Steinway, they make 1,500 in each of their factories. And I had the chance to meet John Steinway. And it was the time in the 80s that Bösendorfer was doing a big comeback, and Yamaha was very prominent as a name, and I said, and frankly, the Steinway production was decaying because the company was sold to CBS in '72, and the quality control was a disaster. I was hired by Steinway to present again to the public their model K2 that they had discontinued years before. And I started to play the piano, and parts were falling apart. So it was a big disaster. And John said, well, Mario, you know, Steinway is a Steinway is a Steinway. We don't have any competition with our name, so we'll make it again. And they did. Now Steinway was sold 3 more times and is owned today by a hedge fund billionaire. But the quality had gone up, and it's doing very well, and it's very expensive. But we have other good news, other manufacturers. Boldin is still making a piano, was owned by Selmer. What is Selmer doing? That's the second line of Steinway, and that's the Essex that we were talking about. Mason and Howling is still doing their wonderful pianos that you see here. George Gertrude. Okay. So I'm going to play a special arrangement of him, I Got Rhythm.